Gundam is awesome. From rivalries that expand the whole series to the edges of love scenes. Characters getting slapped up for acting up to the most tragic of deaths. Gundam truly has it all. Over the years, I've watched a lot of anime. Since I was a young lad, waiting for Dragon Ball Z to come on TV, panicking week after week that Namek was gonna blow up, to buying Beyblades to mimic Tyson's signature jump release. Now to the modern day, watching some fantastic hits coming out back to back. There's just so much to love. But man, when it comes to Gundam, it does something for me in a different way entirely. The feeling of seeing characters fight for their lives, romantic ties that end in tragedy, or even characters just acting as badass as possible. Gundam does it so damn well. At first glance, it may seem like it's just about giant robots fighting for dominance, flashy battles, and overly dramatic death scenes, or reason to glorify man's innate love for giant weapons and mass destruction. Yeah, it's all of that, but it doesn't stop there. There's so much more. Gundam does things differently on many levels I don't think I've ever seen in any other anime. The Gundam source is something special, and as the first video on this channel, I figured we'd talk about it. And yeah, it's true, this series has one of the craziest of timelines in media history. It's not easy to know where to start, which we'll get into in the next video. So subscribe if you want the laydown from your boy Nova. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's get into it. Why I love Gundam and what makes it special, because honestly, there's nothing quite like it. Now this series is pretty damn complicated. There are many stories from different eras and alternate timelines. For example, a timeline where humanity has moved into space, spread across the far reaches of our solar system. Along the way, people from Earth see themselves as elite humans, while a nation in space wishes to gain independence, in turn questioning why they are subject to suppression by the so-called Earth elite, when they are technologically advanced themselves. This leads to a war where even a freaking colony gets dropped on Earth, killing billions. Billions! Now that's freaking wild. At any means to end the war. Like goddamn. Rewatching that scene in Origins made me physically sick, I can't lie. Or another story where to adapt to space, humans have genetically modified themselves to be able to survive and thrive in the dangers that is the final frontier. Interestingly, it started out that way, but as time goes on, people want their children to have certain eye colors or hair colors or skill sets, genetically selecting how they want their children to turn out, trying to create the ultimate coordinator. Definitely leads to intriguing thoughts mirroring our own world, which we can get into when we fully talk about Gundam Seed. Anyway, there's a divide between both groups. The people on Earth feel threatened by those in space, while those of space look down on the humans of Earth, seeing themselves as a separate, superior race. The Earth folk are frightened by those in space, leading to a mentality of if we don't get them first, they'll get us, leading them to launch nukes onto their homes in space, starting the solar system wars with no end in sight. And then there's a series where humanity have colonized Mars, yet are being oppressed by political powers from Earth. The people from Mars want their independence, as the planet is being used to strip resources and sent to Earth. The economy is in ruins. A young woman with political ties on Mars hires a group of orphans who have nowhere to live, no family, and no future in sight to take her to Earth so she can negotiate the future of her people. On the journey to Earth, you get some of the most badass moments I've ever seen in anime history. The characters in this one are cool as fuck. The stories are so damn deep, and I didn't do them full justice by my quick explanations. But not all of these stories fit into one ever-flowing timeline. The series started in 1979 with the first ever Gundam, Mobile Suit Gundam, following Amuro Ray, a teenage boy thrust into the heat of battle. This anime revolutionized mecha anime. Instead of being your Saturday morning Super Robo Fight Fest, it was a series built upon grand stories, character development, and questioning your own and the character's morality. Earlier I mentioned the Gundam happens between alternate realities, and if we went too deeply into it, yeah, things would get pretty damn complicated. So for now, we're gonna keep it basic. To start with, we have the main timeline, the Universal Century. This is where the bulk of the stories exist, spanning many generations across the series. To follow the first Gundam, you have Zeta and Double Zeta. And as time has gone on, they've added stories to different sections of the timeline, even adding events 80 years after the first Gundam. Even now, they're filling in gaps in sections missing in the Universal Century. For example, Gundam Thunderbolt, which came out in 2015, happens around the same time as the first Gundam. And then there's Gundam Victory, made in 1993, which happens 74 years after the first. And even now, we have the second Hathaway movie coming out next year, which places itself around 30 years after the first series. Yeah, understanding it all is pretty complicated and difficult for newer fans to get into and follow along. To help with that problem, Sunrise decided to create alternate universes with isolated stories easier for people to follow. And thus, we got series like Fighter G Gundam, Wing, and After War Gundam X. And in more modern times, you may know 00, Iron-Blooded Orphans, and The Witch from Mercury. This approach has allowed for some of the best entries to the series, with whole new themes and casts of characters. Even though they're entirely different, they are all Gundam, and each Gundam series dives into powerful themes, tragedy, political tension, human greed, and ambition. Or sometimes how characters like to get freaky, like no cap. Minor spoiler for Seed here, by the way. The main character Kira steals one of his best friend's girl, and they all live on the freaking same ship. That's like hooking up with your boy's girl in the same house. Like, brother, that's crazy. And he didn't even try to hide it. He got down to business. The girl even told her boyfriend she spent the night with him. He got pissed, tried to throw hands. Can't blame him. Any guy trying to steal my girl on my watch ain't getting away with it so easy. He swung and got clapped up. Like, holy shit, I felt sorry for the guy. I can't lie. Kira, you're really something else. Tragedy runs deep in the series in a plethora of ways. It's truly beautiful. Anyway, overall, there are a lot of themes throughout the series, but in general, Gundam is about technology, war, oppression, elitism, and often how we abuse the earth we sorely rely on. Profound messages that echo problems humanity has come across, not just in our current era, but eras that seem to cycle throughout the ages. Events that are surely to come as we go into the future. A message that we should not bring wars into space. Yes, Gundam is very political. Look, I know, that word is taboo in anime or gaming spaces, but it's just the truth. Gundam is all about politics, and the politics in Gundam makes it a whole lot better. A topic we'll get into another day. Oppressing the people who are not us. Elitism due to our birth status, our rights to this land we're born onto. The segregation and oppression of the poor who are seen as beneath the rich. Gundam, I dare say, is the best example of our world in anime, hands down. And god damn it, I love it all. Giving the characters a reason to fight, something real they are trying to prevent or at times attain. Or once again with Kira, fighting for the sake of some good damn pussy. Nothing's realer than that. And don't get me wrong, there's the wars and the battles themselves. Things get brutal, and that's great. I love to see a barrage of lasers rushing down a mobile suit. But the reason they do fight, the reason they enter the cockpit, raise their flag, and become the riders of the skies, makes the experience so much sweeter. One story in particular that means a lot to me is the story of the character Setsuna F. Sei, the main character of Gundam 00, also known by his real name, Soran Gundam Ibrahim. My boy, born in the Middle East, got thrusted into war since he was a child soldier manipulated to join the so-called Holy War to keep the infidels from invading their land. The anime opens up seeing this war-torn land as he fights for his life, watching his friends die around him, repeating the words to himself, "In this world, there is no God." Pushed into a fanatic extremist religious cult, led to the death of his parents, his friends, and all he loved around him. And as he runs for his life, being chased down by a mobile suit, an overwhelming power, you see flashbacks to his childhood, his journey, his path in this holy war. You get a glimpse of what he's endured. He's cornered, about to take his final breath, and then bang! Well, I guess since it's a laser, it's more like a beam comes down from up high, destroying the mobile suit, then another, and another. And as Soran looks to the sky, a machine, seemingly with wings, descends from the heavens, and his eyes widen in awe as he is reborn and determined to end all wars from humankind, spending the rest of the series identifying as a Gundam. I can't lie, Setsuna represented me for real. Truly, he was ahead of the game. And once again, that's not all. Not all Gundams are super serious, and that's the fun of it. There are so many different flavors. A fighting tournament of Gundams from around the world, different countries representing their home to be the winner of a global tournament, or a pilot who loves jazz and another who's into blues faces off in a crazy frenzy of lightning, with one of the coolest scenes ever displaying the difference in power from a Gundam to a regular mobile suit. Oh man, just talking about it makes me feel alive. The variations in characters, storylines, technology, themes and plot are so grand, and it's all so enjoyable to experience. Well, mostly. I honestly can't get enough. This series knows how to handle their characters. Not just main characters, mind you, side characters or even characters you barely even know. Their personality and drive are expressed clearly to the viewer, and even though there are constant battles between the main crew and their enemy, they introduce so many likable bad guys that just so happen to belong to the other army. Born to a different country, thus they're forced to fight. Rumble Rule will always be one of my favorites. I'm a sucker for enemies or villains who look after their men, or the people on their side in general. And in the wars you see here, the enemy isn't inherently evil, they're just doing their duty for their homeland. Not always, but it's often the case. It's interesting to see how they interact and are forced to fight for their home, which normally ends in explosions, and to see our main characters struggle to deal with their morality as they become mass murderers to protect their friends and family is a sad reality. And after all this talking, we still haven't gotten to the battles. My god, these get me hype. Even going back to the oldies of Amun Ray, the first Gundam pilot, going episode to episode annihilating everyone who was unfortunate enough to end up on his path, to the latest Gundams, with beautiful animation and art style, of very advanced technology, putting other machines to shame, clashes between rivals with epic battles to behold, or an overpowered suit running beatdown on weak pilots who get in their way, large fleet battles with tension between both sides, solar panel super weapons able to destroy hundreds of ships at the same time, radio wave weapons, nuclear weapons, and sadly, even gas weapons. We got so much variety in the craziness that is Gundam, from 1979 all the way to 2025, and it's not over by a long shot. This series honestly has too much to say, and the way it delivers their messages are both enjoyable and powerful. There's honestly nothing else like it. Gundam isn't afraid of holding a mirror up to the issues humanity faces and the dark paths it has and will lead us down. And all of this is why I love Gundam. And also my boy Kira, that boy is crazy. Honestly guys, there's so much more I could have talked about when it comes to the series. I've watched almost every single Gundam series multiple times, and I'll keep watching them into the future. There's so much gold here, and I didn't even talk about Gunpla or the games. Even though I haven't dived into either of those that much, eventually I'll get around to it. Next time, I think we'll be talking about timelines and the best way to watch Gundam, in my opinion. Possible routes to start, and some you may want to avoid. But for now, we're done, so I'll catch you next time. Nova Gundam launching.